Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Talk Tissue. Today, we're excited to talk to Andy Pienta, who is the Regional Sales Manager for EPIQ in North America. Andy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Great to have you.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
So EPIQ has recently joined Tissue Online and is starting to share some of its content with our audience. And we thought it would be a good idea to do a Talk Tissue with you and learn a little bit more about, yourself and EPIQ and what you can offer the North American tissue market. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, some of your history? I know a lot of people are going to know who you are because you're very active in the tissue industry.
Yeah, so I've been in paper industry for over 30 years. Obviously the tissue industry has grown quite a bit in the last, 10 years plus, but even before that. And EPIQ itself has always been involved in the paper industry, all different grades. And in recent years has moved more and more into the tissue industry. Obviously with the viable paper grades and tissue being one of the primary, you need to be focused on that.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people refer to tissue as recession proof. And, and the growth of the tissue industry isn't astronomical, right? It grows with population and shifting demand, people moving from region to region, contracts. So what about EPIQ? I know you're not located in the United States, but why don't you tell us a little bit about the headquarters, where you're located, a little bit about the history?
Yeah, so EPIQ is based just outside Montreal in Saint-Bruno, Quebec. Okay. And we've got two primary locations there. We also have in Quebec, we also have an office in Chicoutimi up in northern Quebec. Okay. And those are the three main locations in Quebec. We are an international company. We have facilities globally, but that's where we're at today. And I live in the U.S., but I try to come up here and meet with my teammates as much as I can.
Yeah, what about talk about that? The coverage in the United States. I know you guys have some sales force in the U.S. and what's the coverage look like?
Yeah, so we have I'm in Michigan, and then we have a colleague in Alabama, Kevin Herron, and then Marty Tuamisto is based in Appleton, Wisconsin. Okay. And those are the three primary. And then we also have Paul Savage is in Quebec, and then Louis Boutet, which is he's based in Ontario. Louis is a recent addition to our team. And we kind of leverage each one of them in an overlap of the different territories as the teams need it. Peter Hanna is our general sales manager, and Luc Babin is our product line manager for pulp and paper. And obviously they're the primary oversights of everything, and all the projects flow through them.
Okay. And for someone listening today from our audience that may not be as familiar with EPIQ, what are one or two product lines that they should know about that would, be intriguing for them to know about, that they could reach out to you for?
Sure. So a lot of people the EPIQ name is new. Most folks that know us as Advanced Dynamics.
Okay.
Over the years. So we did keep the EPIQ AD as kind of the AD is a kind of a trademark, or I wouldn't say trademark, but it's something that people can relate to.
Sure.
But primary business, a lot of people in pulp and paper, you got our craft wrap lines, winder deck systems on your container board handling, liner board, and then a big product line in tissue would be your pulp bale handling systems. So delivery on the wet end of the tissue machine, whether it be continuous or batch, the ability to automatically feed those pulp bales into the system. That's a key product line that's been thriving for 20, 30 years. We also do all the different delivery on the broke end, which would be any of your broke handling, OCC, DLK, recycled bales. So the ability to dewire and then also feed those into the pulpers. Wow. So those are all kind of the key on the wet end. And then another product line that people might not think of us would be a dry end roll handling.
Okay.
So, we got a finished good, finished parent rolls of tissue, being able to handle those, whether we're going to package them or convey them from the dry end to the warehouse.
Sure. So even into converting. So if that parent roll is complete, something will transport that to the converting side of the plant.
Yeah. So we don't do a lot in the converting side of the business yet. We're really just we're more of a delivery mechanism of the parent rolls. We do have a recent addition to our product line where we have automated cranes. It's called EPIQ Fafico. So Fafico is a well-established 50-year-old company that we acquired 50% interest in. They're based in India, but deliver cranes globally. And so that's a product line that we're going to continue to migrate over here into the U.S. market for delivery of parent rolls.
Yeah, that seems like a key addition. I mean, it seems like you have the complete package to offer, the warehousing part of the mill.
That you try to build all the different pieces, right? Obviously, we're not in the paper machine business.
Yes.
But anything we can do to support that beast, both feeding it and then loading it and the ancillary.
Yeah, and automation being key in this, and the ability for these mills to be able to hire enough personnel to maintain some of this equipment or to operate it. There's more and more needs for, I'm sure, for some of your products. How does that play into, what you guys offer?
Yeah, so it's all of our customers are been a continuous trend. They're leaning more and more on the OEM to support their technologies within their mills. Not everybody has all those capabilities. So to be able to lean on us with 24/7 field service support, all the different offerings, whether it be for robots, AGVs, PLC, or just mechanical system audits of existing systems, whether it be ours or others, that they want to get back up to a standard or to improve the performance of it.
Sure. Yeah, and you mentioned you've been in the industry for a long time. Can you touch on some of the changes maybe that you've seen from the start of your career to where we're at today as an industry? What are some of your key takeaways?
I think there is quite a migration. In some of the aspects, you get into it and you look at the larger systems like craft wrap lines and traditional roll handling, and that there are some different approaches, but conventional handling still exists with a little bit of sprinkling of new technologies. For example, would be like move roll. It's a way to eliminate ramps and bumping and all. And so there's ways to enhance those older systems, but a lot of those methods or methodologies kind of still hold true.
Yeah.
We've just added in stuff like robots into those to take care of labeling, or robots to put core plugs in, or just better utilizing. We've got the ability to do end-to-end transfers, so it's more streamlined systems. So it is kind of a mixture. One of the biggest things I think that we see with our key customer base is just the push for technology.
Yeah.
There is a lot of awareness of it's just the fact that the labor available, or in our case, a lot of our industries, the product is just too big.
Correct.
Or going too fast for people to get engaged with it directly. So there's a welcomeness or an interest for technology to apply the different automations and kind of push the envelope,
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think we've seen more and more, at least in my career over the last 5-7 years. There's always a couple customers that are kind of pushing the limits. Correct. But it's much more of a group approach now. Everybody's looking at what everyone is doing and trying to get better and better and more automated.
Yeah, and everyone's looking for the edge over the competition. And in the tissue industries, as you're probably well aware of, a lot of the personnel at company X will eventually probably work at company Y, based on the tribal knowledge that exists. I've spoken to several key people in the industry. The growth is basically one new facility a year is what we're adding in the United States. That's a fairly large, that's a wet-end converting facility. That's big. So we're constantly adding new people into the mix of having to learn all the technology, having to learn all the science. And I don't know how we're doing keeping up with the educational piece of it. I know there's a few schools that are offering degrees in paper science and such, but it does seem like automation will have to continue playing a huge key role, not only for giving converters and paper makers the edge, but also for safety. Because if you're not operating safely, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
No, those are all real good points, Brian. Safety is something that obviously everybody is interested.
Sure.
That's a key component of, the first thing on the list when you're looking at it. I think we're all involved in our individual companies. I know we start out meetings with safety moments. It's try to keep it immediate and present. People's just in our everyday workday. But on the system side, there is a lot of approaches, when you're going into legacy systems or even new systems, even something 5 years old that was considered safe or approved then, it has to be assessed again.
Yeah.
And now it's not only just the end user and the OEM, but now you've got a third party or someone that can actually is certified that can validate the safety of the system.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of layers to that. And sometimes the safety, it can be a cost component that either drives the project,
Mm-hmm.
or in some cases, it can be a means that it doesn't allow a project to
Sure.
happen
Yeah.
just because of the cost to be able to make a proper safe system. So maybe they don't make the change, but yeah, those are things that we kind of always have to deal with. Working for a Quebec-based company, learning the standards up here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different than the US.
Yeah.
So when we go in, I think it does kind of give a feather in our cap to our clients. They understand that certifications, the requirements, the things that we're bringing, there's no middle ground,
Yeah. Yep.
and so we're very upfront on that. And
Yep.
I think customers appreciate that. All of us don't have time. And then
Sure.
on the front end, we can cut out a lot of that if we get right to the facts, and
Yeah.
sometimes it comes across being short, but at the end of the day, we're all in alignment and it needs to be safe.
Yeah, I think that's where our culture is at. Let's just get right to the point, right? But there's no more pomp and circumstances. Let's get right to the point. How is this going to help me get better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what you can look at things, and yes, there might be some different approaches on it, whether they be the hardware or the design, but in order for the whole thing to be function and be validated, we actually have safety personnel here employed that's all they do is approve all the different systems.
Sure.
That we do.
Yep. No, I get it. Andy, I think the conversation was fascinating. Obviously, you're the right person to talk to. So for all of you watching today and listening to this interview, reach out to Andy, please. He can definitely lead you in the right direction. And there's multiple ways to get a hold of him. I'm sure he's on LinkedIn. We'll post his website. We'll post a link directly to the company. Andy, thank you so much for taking the time, and look forward to hearing more from you.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.